Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bordas and Bordas hotline of the Nightly Sports Call, which is brought to you by Ireland Contracting. Bob Pompeani and Ron Cook with you. So, Ron, before we take to the lines, we have a lot of people on them. I want to ask you about Jamie Dixon. Halftime tonight, tight game. His team just missed a buzzer beater, which I thought it was good, but then it was just a fraction of a second late. So instead of a 38-33 lead, they led 35-33. But uncharacteristically, he's asked by Holly Rowe about the culture. He said, well, we're changing the culture down here. We're winning. People love it, and we're going to win tonight. And then his team backs him up so far in the second half.
They're up like 10 in the second half. You know, he got thrown out of the game the other night. He got 2 technical fouls. He got thrown out. He's a great coach. It was time for him to move on from Pitt. I firmly believe that. I don't know if they made the right hire in Kevin Stallings, but it was time for Jamie to go somewhere else, for Pitt to go in another direction. If he beats Huggins tonight, West Virginia's 7th in the country. This will be a real nice win for them.
They've had 2 other close calls against teams that they should have beaten, like Oklahoma down there at TCU. They had them on the ropes.
I think they lost 4 out of 5.
Yeah, but they're if you look at the closeness of the game. We have this tweet before we go to the lines. David Palladino says, cannot understand the Sprong and Cole moves, but they're 6-3 in January, so who am I to judge? In Sully, we trust. Let's go out to Jerry in Hempfield, who's our first caller tonight. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Bob and Ron, I got something very surprising I heard. I want to get your comment. Let me say what I heard. There's a lot of sports talk shows during the daytime, and I happened to hear, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, that one commentator said that a lot of black coaches wanted to see Tomlin fired because the team's out of control, and he can't win the big games making bad calls. Even though he got a good record, he can't get over to the
Well, he's not going to be fired. He signed an extension, Jerry, and quite frankly, he shouldn't get fired.
He's not going to get fired.
He
needs to tighten some things up, though,
Certainly.
Bob.
Every coach has something that they have to do when they lose and don't meet their expectations.
I wrote about him in a PG tomorrow. He can be, to me, he's the second best coach in the league after Belichick. But the gap is huge between him and Belichick. The Steelers deserve better. He's got to make some changes. Can't have guys show up late. Got to have control of social media, and I think he's smart enough to figure that out.
He is smart.
I think he's an outstanding coach.
So do I. But I thought he was going to make a change to their defensive coaching staff. It begged one, I thought. Instead, Todd Haley is the guy to go, and tonight we find out just a week later, Cleveland is going to hire him as the offensive coordinator. And
Bob, I made a career out of ridiculing Cleveland. I mean, we all have in this town. Don't sleep on them, though. They got the 1st and 4th round picks. They get a quarterback in Saquon Barkley. They have a chance to be pretty good. Now, Todd Haley's going to a situation where he doesn't have a lot of security. He's going to work for a coach who's, I can't even say it, 1-31 in his last 2 years. So I don't think Hugh Jackson has a lot of security there. Maybe Todd Haley will end up being the head coach there at some point.
The Cleveland Browns have had those picks for many years.
About 1-4 together.
Yeah, but they've screwed up. They've passed on.
Yeah, but now they have a GM.
Wentz.
They have a GM.
They've always had GMs.
No, they haven't. They went with that. They went with that.
Holmgren at one point.
Yeah, but they went with that the last time with these
Sashi Brown
metrics guy. Yeah, that was ridiculous. But they have a GM now.
They drafted all the wrong quarterbacks. The right ones have come and gone. They passed on Deshaun Watson. They passed on Carson Wentz. That's all you need to know about them. Let's go to Derek in North Fayette. Hey, Derek, how you doing?
How you doing, guys? I got a question, your opinion. Do you think the Steelers need a clean house? What I mean by that, do you think they should go after, get rid of Keith Butler, Joey Porter?
Well, they already said they're not going to. So, I mean, it's a moot point. They're bringing them all back. I thought there should have been, Ron, did you? I thought there should have been some shakeup on the defensive coaching staff.
Well, I mean, they were so inept against Jacksonville in that last game. You give up, they give up 31 points. You can say maybe 34.
38.
18-yard line after the
Yeah, but the defense allowed a 1-yard.
But hold a field goal there. You got to give up at least 3, I would think. They were awful. They looked disorganized. I thought there was going to be some changes. I don't think the linebackers are very good. Now, they lost Shazier. It was a big loss. I don't think Bud Dupree got better as the year went on. It's a reflection of Joey Porter. I thought there could have been changes.
Well, the whole linebacking situation, not only was Bud Dupree not good enough, but he wasn't as good as James Harrison based on what we've seen in the short time he's been in New England, where he's totaled basically 3 sacks in the games he's played. Let's go to Nunzio and Braddock. What's up, Nunzio? How are you?
Good evening, gentlemen. I got a couple things to say about changing the defensive coach. I don't think they're ever going to do that as long as Tomlin is coaching, because in reality, Tomlin is the defensive coach.
No,
He's
but
running
they
them on the
got
sidelines.
rid
He's
of
running
Dick
the
LeBeau.
defensive practice.
They got rid of Dick LeBeau.
Yeah, LeBeau, I mean, Tomlin has a big say in the defense. There's no question. But he's a head coach. He should. And because when it fails, he deserves to take criticism for it.
Let's go to Joe in Clairton next up on the Sports Call. Hey, Joe. Joe.
Hello.
Yes, you're on.
Yeah, I was calling concerning LeVeon Bell, man. I don't understand how they're considering not even paying that man.
No, they have. They've paid him they paid him the maximum contract they could pay him last year.
The highest
and
paid running back in the league.
So how can you say that?
All right, see, what I don't understand is they was thinking about, maybe a week ago, talking about, do he deserve to, did he decrease his value and all of that? I don't understand how he decreases value on the field when that man is the greatest running back in the past 10 years.
His value will only increase, and it will go up. The Steelers really have no choice in this unless they extend him long term. It jumps from 12+ million to 14.5 million. That's the option they have: long term or that, or let him go. And they have to
I'm not letting him go. I'm going to put a tag on him again. If he wants to sit out all year, let him sit out. He's not going to do that.
Don't you think there's other needs that could use some of that money? $15 million.
I'm not letting a great player like that walk for nothing, though. I don't like that.
All right, let's go out to Mike in Charleroi. What's up, Mike? How are you? What do you think?
Hey, Bob. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
As a lead-in from the previous caller, I'm all for getting rid of LeVeon Bell. Cleveland has the first pick. They're going to take Sam Darnold, quarterback.
No, they're not.
Haley's going to be in Cleveland. He works with quarterbacks.
If they take Sam Darnold, I predict he'll fail.
Get that rookie in good shape. We'll take the fourth-round draft choice, give Le'Veon Bell to them, and we'll take Saquon Barkley from Penn State. As I remember, there's another
First of all,
running
you
back
can't
from
make
Penn
that
State
trade.
did quite well in Pittsburgh.
Cleveland would be idiotic to make that trade, but then again, they've been idiotic.
Well,
so,
Bell doesn't have a contract.
no,
How do you trade him?
Trade him, but also, even if you could, you wouldn't, because he makes $15 million versus a new kid coming in who's going to make the entry level. Why would you even consider that? It doesn't make any sense, right?
I take it one more shot with Le'Veon Bell. With this offense, with Ben back, with Antonio, with the line back, I think Martavis got his head out of you-know-where. I like this offense. I'm taking another shot next year. I'm bringing him back.
All right, well, the bottom line comes down to this. They have to figure out all their other needs. Most of their needs are on defense. And they better come up with answers there, because if not, they're going to have the same situation as last year. And it doesn't matter how many points you score against good teams. And they're going to face some good teams with good quarterbacks. You're going to be in the same boat. So we'll see. It's going to be an intriguing question moving forward. 412-575-2600. That's the number. We'll be back right after this on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.